Talking to Awaaz. Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Mark Griffin. I've lived in Batley since 1994. Originally from Nottingham, and I moved up here in my late 20s. And we have a young family, two girls, aged 15 and 13, who are both at Batley Grammar School, and my wife is a caretaker over at Batley Town Hall and has worked there for the last 3 years. I work in marketing and advertising, and I've had my own business for the last 10 years. The last 3 of which have been very challenging indeed, but hopefully we're coming out of the back of that and we'll be able to create some jobs in the local area again.
What do you think are the key battlegrounds in this election in terms of issues for you?
I think for me, overall, I've been somewhat amazed by the lack of participation in local elections. And I think last year was terrific. There was a 45% turnout, but it tends to be the larger parties that stand. And I think sometimes you want to link community and politics again, and talk about very local issues. It's not always necessarily about winning the election, but just by taking part, you can have an effect, having a chat with people, talking about different issues, and it's surprising what impact that has on maybe a party that's going to win.
Why run in Batley East?
I live in Batley East.
Is it that simple?
It is that simple. Yeah, I mean it's an absolutely fascinating area, and I think when you have a look at the map of the area, to go from the Al Hikma on one side over to Haybeck Lane on the other side, and look at the difference between a rural area and a metropolitan area, and also of course the rich mixture. Batley, I suppose in some respects, I look at it, it's a bit like a port. There are so many different people from different backgrounds, and it adds to the rich mixture.
Why are you running as an independent? Is it because you don't have, you couldn't get yourself onto a political party?
Very good. Yeah. Hey, that could be the case, couldn't it? I think this independent label is fascinating because I think there's something a little bit wrong with the electoral process, in terms of the ballot paper, because I'm not allowed to have a logo. And there is some amusement in that because of my background in graphic design, I've never been a member of a political party, right? So I now know, of course, that people use the independent label for various different things, within their campaigns. It could be a protest, they've been a member of one party and changed it, etc. I've not applied to be a member of a political party. My view is that I wanted to see if we could link community issues with politics, which I feel the two things should go together and don't always do, as an independent, and let's see how we go. Mm-hmm. It was 295 votes last year, so you know where I stand at the moment.
That brings me nicely on to my next question. Do you think you can actually win this election?
I think, and this is an honest answer. I'm winning by taking part, and I know that sounds like a real cliche, but the amount of enjoyment I've had over the certainly last year and this year, in terms of getting to know people and trying to understand the issues, because none of us have got all the answers. That's clear, isn't it, with the cuts that we're going through at the moment. The challenge is to try and use the money effectively. So in answer to your question, of course not. In terms of beating Hanif, and I wish him all the best in the election, as I do the other candidates, but if we can get to a stage where we're getting 500, 600, 700, I would see that as a triumph this year,
Right. You described that you're not part of a particular political party, but how would you describe your political ideology, shall we say?
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, well, I'll give that a try. I think one of the things that's interested me about getting to know Batley, and I say I've lived here since 1994, but a lot of the time I worked away, is the amount of enthusiasm and energy that volunteers have. Yeah? That people who are not, in effect, getting paid for what they do, whatever walk of life they come from, whatever their interests, they do a huge amount. And I look at the way that sometimes volunteers are treated, and that can be by the public sector, it can be in the context of their own organisation, that they're not treated particularly well. So I guess my ideology would be, if we feel that volunteers are going to save the world at this moment where there's so many cutbacks, that volunteers need to be supported. The name of Batley, yeah, fundamental to me of a town like Batley or Dewsbury, that we need to talk up the name. we're not North Kirklees, we're not the Leeds City region, we're not Kirklees in reality, we're Batley first and foremost. And that maybe is an area of public life where we can come together, yeah, despite the rich differences that we have, that we can come together and do something positive for the area. And I think, probably that is, the area isn't.
You mentioned saying you're promoting Batley and not as Kirklees,
yes,
as per se. So are you broadly in support of the Conservative proposals of splitting Kirklees into two?
No, I oppose that, because I feel that there is within Kirklees Council, and we know, we all know that it's it's three parties, all of whom have had a go in different coalitions, that there is a desire to improve the council. There is a need, because of the cutbacks, to improve the council.
The council has had to make cuts to libraries, the care budget, children's centres, 2,000 council jobs being cut. What are your views?
I think the view of everybody surely is we all wish that it wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I think we deal with the situation as it is. There are areas within Kirklees Council where they have obviously as an organisation failed, even when they had the money,
Antisocial behaviour and crime is a key issue amongst many of our readers. A lot of people feel threatened almost walking through their own town. What would you do to try and curb antisocial behaviour and bring down crime?
Yeah, I mean, it's again a hugely challenging one, and it's a lot of different partnerships from different organisations to try and deliver it, isn't it? And I think the thing is, we need to look at the areas where the worst of the crime is happening. And I know obviously we're going through a period of recession where we're looking at quite a few petty crimes and and burglaries as well, and to try and work with the police and the local community support and say, well, how can we do a bit more? And of course, neighbourhood watch in different areas has been effective, over many years. And certainly on my trip round Woodkirk Gardens, I was chatting with Trevor, who runs the neighbourhood watch around there. He's 76, maybe again, what fabulous, same age as my dad. Fabulous, but maybe he needs a bit more support. Perhaps that's an organisation where we can, help.
You're running as an independent. If elected, wouldn't you have less power than, say, a candidate of one of the major three parties?
Yeah, it's an interesting balance, isn't it? And I think this is something that you as a voter, you've got to ask yourself and say, well, do I rate this guy, as an independent, or am I better off to stick with one of the major parties who, in some respects, will vote due to their own conscience? In other respects, of course, as a member of a party, you vote as a member of that party. So there will be a whip on it, and you will have to vote according to, what the party says. I think I would rather leave it to the voters to think, well, yeah, there's pros and cons of having an independent. I get around and talk to as many people as I can. And say, first go last year, we'll have another go this year, have a third go next year. And I think gradually, if I go around and talk to people, they'll be able to make their own minds up and think, well, yeah, this guy's all right, we'll give him a go. Or no, actually, we don't think that the ideas, that he's standing for are what we believe.
You're standing on a platform for getting the voter turnout up for Batley East. Why?
Why? Yes, indeed. Well, I think there's two sides to that, isn't there? One, honestly, a tactical one. Yeah, if there's 45%, turned out last year, and 70% voted for Amanda and the Labour Party. If I'm going to get more votes, I need to try and mobilise some of that 55%. Yeah, I think. Secondly, perhaps less cynically, and as I said in the leaflet, for me, we have a local democratic system. The more people that vote, the more democratic it feels, even if your choices are limited.
Right. Thank you for talking to us, and best of luck, Mark.
Thank you very much indeed. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you.
You too. Thanks.